Today we're going to be talking about the life cycle of a tree, more specifically the oak tree. So a tree will start off as a seed. The seed of an oak tree is an acorn. Some of you may have seen these before. Looks like this. Here's a one that's a little bit smaller too. This one's really cute. So when we have an acorn, ones that don't get eaten by animals, a lot of squirrels will take them and eat them. If one is left on the ground and gets some water and some sunlight, it has the opportunity to split open. If you look right here, you can see a little crack right there, and a little root will come out, and eventually it will start growing. If it has some water and sunlight to continue growing, it'll turn into a sprout, which is the next step after a seed. And I have right here an oak tree sprout. Let me show you. This is really cool. You can see right here, it's an acorn. The root has grown right out of it. A stem grew up and it has a sprout, all these leaves on top. They don't quite look like oak leaves yet, but you can see they're starting to take their shape. When the sprout gets a little bit bigger, it becomes a young tree, which is called a sapling. And that you may see when you're on a walk. It will be a smaller tree. The trunk will be fairly skinny, and it will be getting taller and taller, but still not like a great big tree. After a tree is a sapling, it will continue to grow and become a full-grown, mature tree. So a mature oak tree has leaves that look like this. When a mature tree has reached the end of its journey, it becomes a snag. All of the leaves will fall off one last time, and then they will not grow back. And this is a tree you will see maybe in the spring that does not have any leaves on it. It'll still look like something you might see at the end of the fall. This is called a snag. This is a tree that is left upright to naturally start decaying. When parts of a snag fall off and fall to the ground, it becomes a log. Or if it is cut down, or if the whole tree falls over, it then becomes a log. A log is a great place to be a habitat for many wildlife. For bugs, also moss and fungi and lichen will grow on a log. Eventually the log will decay and decompose and end up turning into soil, which then is ready for an acorn to fall into, or a seed to fall into and grow a sprout. And then the life cycle begins all over again. This is the cap of an acorn. This little sprout, there is no longer a cap on the acorn. So the cap pops off when the acorn splits open so it can grow out the roots and the sprout. Something fun you can do if you find an acorn cap is put your thumbs over it just like this. I'm going to leave kind of a little V. And if you blow right down your thumbs, watch. You may have to try many times to kind of make it. Sometimes it makes a really good whistle, and you can try different caps, different sizes, different shapes. Some of them are deeper, and you can see if you can make yours whistle. In the fall, you'll see a lot of different oak leaves falling. They turn beautiful colors and then fall to the ground. I even saw some on my walk today that were still on the ground. They had fallen and they were brown now. So I went on a hunt earlier to find some oak leaves, and I found this cluster of oak leaves that had just fallen onto the ground. But I wanted to point this out. This has some little tiny acorns just starting to grow on there. Do you see? This is just the little cap. So when you peek, you can see that this part is going to become the cap, and then the other part of the seed, the bottom part of the acorn, will continue to grow and become a part of that. I have a really fun activity for you to do that has to do with the life cycle of a tree. So as you are out on walks or maybe even in your backyard, you can look for different stages of the life cycle. So remember, there's seed, and then a sprout, then it turns into a sapling, which is that young tree, then a mature tree, then a snag, that's the one that will not have any leaves on it, which will eventually fall down and become a log, and it will decay. Okay, so if you find any of those, you'll know which part of the life cycle they're in.